All right, so one of the best ways to learn to code is to take a look at what's already out there and try to reproduce what you see. So this game is called Framed. You can access it from school devices, but I'll show you kind of how it works. So this is a movie scene, and you try to guess the movie. I don't know. There's a little pop-up right here. You hit submit. That's not it. I don't know this movie. Now you'll notice that these little bars show up right here, so pay attention to that. And then if you scroll, you can see, and it tells you how many guesses are remaining. It tells you what your answers are and all that stuff. Oh, I really don't know this movie. And it goes through. Never seen this movie before in my life. Still going. And the answer was, I guess this one gives you the stats, so it tells you like how many people guessed. So 2046. I don't know, I've never seen that movie before. It gives you all kinds of stats and stuff like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to recreate just a stripped down version of this sort of game mechanism. So here's the finished product, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to, kind of code this. All of this stuff should be pretty familiar. But, hey, guess the movie. You have 5 attempts. Don't know what that is. Still don't know what it is. You can see the boxes jumping around, and that's because I didn't put it in a grid. So, like, the pictures are kind of different sizes. Where did I get the pictures of the movie? If only there was a place online where you could watch movie trailers and take screenshots of said movie trailers and use said screenshots as pictures and edit pictures to put into your project. So I think enough hints there. Let's see. Oh, there it flips. Still don't know it. Still don't know it. Whoa. It's The Matrix. So it says game over. The movie was The Matrix. And let me reload. If you put The Matrix, because that is the name of the movie. Whoa. Correct, you win. And I'm going to reload it. And if I put all caps, The Matrix. Whoa. Because remember, if you remember strings, capitalization can matter. So we're going to have to take a look at how we fix that. Now, if I just put in matrix, oopsie doodles. So that's up to your own little difficulty. If you want to be nice to the people playing your game, or if you want to be like Super Mario and be mean, that is up to your own creativity. All right, so let's go ahead and get to coding. I'm going to put the style. There's a limited amount of style, so I'm going to put it in the header up here. But go ahead and pause so you can copy and paste or so you can see what I put in the body. Right now, everything kind of looks a little obnoxious, and I'm recycling this code over. You're going to have to upload your own pictures in the margin over here. It's appearing because I have it from a previous project, and it looks kind of obnoxious right now. Everything's kind of like not looking like it should. So I'm going to add some style up here in the header. So I added some style, and you can kind of see it looks like it previously did. It's going to start with a picture, so they have to take a look at the picture right here. And that's the picture it's going to start with. It's uploaded right here, but the pictures are going to swap out as we go. And what I did is I gave the body some code right here, text align, keeping the image pretty much of a certain size. You can mess with like the size of the image You know, you don't want necessarily your user to have to like put their nose to the screen to, you know, have a sense of what movie that is. And then I gave the input box and the button some style. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, do that. Well, here, I'll do it at the style. So I'm just going to collapse that. And then this is all the text right here, and we'll leave that exposed so you can see what's going on and give myself some room in the script. So this next bit's really nothing you haven't seen before. We're going to call it correct string, so their guess has to match this. And I'm going to show you later what if it's case sensitive, because the matrix, it should be capital T and capital M. And if they put in lowercase t, lowercase m, and it doesn't match this, you know, this is how you truly write out the matrix, right? So what you want is you want to keep this lowercase, and I'm going to show you how you can use JavaScript to parse the data, and it's going to ignore whether or not it's uppercase or lowercase, and it won't return a wrong answer. And you want them to have, say, 5 attempts. I mean, it matches what's on the screen. You can set attempts to anything in the code. You just need to specify where. And we're going to create a index of wrong choices. So the idea is that they're going to get stumped and they're going to be wrong until they're right. So we'll just call this like wrong index. We'll call these wrong images, and it's an array. And here's the thing, because the game starts hard and gets easier as the user gets incorrect guesses, each of these pictures, you want it to get easier and easier and easier as they go. So that's what order matters means. And CodeHS codes a little differently. So normally what would happen is you name a file, say matrix1.png or something like that, and it's in, you'd want quotes, and you'd want the comma for the array. But see, the thing is, though, is for CodeHS, you're going to have your list of pictures here. This is how you would code it normally, but for CodeHS, you have to do the whole upload thing. But it would normally look something, you know, like this, matrix2.png, all the way, oh, you got to spell it right? All the way to picture 5. And you're starting off with this picture already loaded up here, and then you just kind of like work through the wrong answers and stuff like that. So for the purpose of this project, make sure you do it in the CodeHS format, and make sure you use the little upload strings or the upload code. Okay, so right here we're going to name our variables. So up here you have the game image, which is going to flip the image, right? This message is going to change. It starts off with you have 5 attempts, and then you have 4 attempts, 2 attempts, you know. It's just going to be like a countdown. And this is just like a normal input form, and then your submit button has to do something. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 variables you need to name. So gave these a unique name. Get element by ID. It's pulling from this part of the page, and you've tied it right here. And ready for the next bit. Okay, so for this next bit, we got a lot to do. So we're going to do an event listener, and there's going to be a submit for the submit button, and it's going to run a function. And I'm going to explain this E in a second, but let me go ahead and just finish off this part right here. And there we go. So we got to give ourselves lots of room. And we're going to be adding a bunch of stuff to this function here. So one thing we're going to have to add, and it's tied back to this E right here, basically E for event. And there's things that buttons do and that they're designed to do. They're not necessarily designed to like just keep hammering and flip pictures. It's meant to like submit form data. So that's one of the default things it does. So it just by design, it does that. So we want to prevent that from happening. So we're going to include just the E right here. And then you can, I mean, it can be event right here because you're preventing a event default, and then it's just shortened to E for events. The next bit is you gotta create a variable. This what it does is it evaluates what's put in there. It makes things not case sensitive. So if you plug, say, lowercase the matrix in, and they put uppercase T, uppercase M, it's going to evaluate it and it's going to ignore the case that the words are in. So you're going to need that in there, and that's how this method right here is what you use to do that. So the next bit is if they get it on the first try. So this is not necessarily the first try, but any of the tries. This is a picture of, I recycled an image, but it's the one of Neo going, whoa, you know, that whole scene right there. So if user guess equals correct string, it's going to pop this picture right here. It's also going to pop out, hey, correct, you win. And that's going to replace the you have 5 attempts. So that's going to replace it there with that string. And then what this does at the end, I'll just go ahead and put that there. The return, what it does is it's going to disallow future, if you get it, if you win or lose after 5 attempts, it's going to disable the input box. So if they win, it disables the input box, and if they eat up all of their chances, it disables the input box. Just add some more room there. Okay, so this is for the attempts left. It's going to kind of count down the attempts left. And, you know, here's your if statement. If attempts left, as it approaches 0, you want it to do stuff, right? Like you have 4 more attempts and flip an image, right? So every time they get it wrong, it's going to send a message and flip the image. Okay, and this part's really nothing too crazy new. You know, you have the image source, which is pulling from wrong images and the wrong image index, or what we labeled wrong index. So wrong images. And you want it to increment up, right? You want it to work its way across the index. And you're going to be, it's going to be loading a number in there. And, you know, when you have a variable that's pulling from a different variable, you need to add this code in there. And the input value is, it's an open string because you don't know what they're putting in there. It could be, you know, Fight Club. You don't know what they're putting in there, but it's going to read what they put in there and check it against what you have up here. And, you know, there you go. And then here you have your else statement. And it's going to, again, flip the image if they run out of chances. And then you get the message, text content, game over. And then it loads what you have in here. The correct answer was the matrix. And it's, so spelling does matter. So make sure that you spell things correctly. Because because it can be frustrating if a user's like, hey, I spelled it right, and you didn't spell it right. But it's going to pull that variable into here and then load the message, and again, disable the input box. So let's take a look and see if it works. So I'm just going to put a letter in there. Wrong. You have 4 attempts left. And so again, this 4 is pulling from here. So it's counting down your chances. And then doot, 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 doot. And then that picture loads if you get it all wrong. And let's see, submit. I guess you can still fool with the input box there. That's not that big a deal. But yeah, I think you can disable. I'd have to look at that. I put that in there. I have to mess with the code. I put that in there and then forgot I put that in there. But this should work as is. And again, you got the hints up front of how to get these images. So have fun.